All right, you're getting 2 for 1 today. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. We're going to be reading some comments on my latest video. Don't often do this, but like, I just thought this was. I thought, to be perfectly honest, I thought this was actually a pretty good spread. So the video in question is the one talking about the fact that they've actually added in a proper difficulty modifier. Now I know some people were confused. Was it a mod or anything like that? No, it is part of the online arcade beta that is currently available on PC, so on the Steam version. So if you've got the Steam version, you can access that right now. However, for those that are wondering when it's going to come to console, it definitely will be coming to console, so don't worry about that. I also, from what I understand, from what I've read, that apparently they're going to be bringing it to the console versions within the collection itself as well, which is really good because the AI essentially copies over, from the arcade to the home console versions. The Super Nintendo, the Nintendo versions do modify it slightly, which is, I don't know why they ever did that, but it's weird. But let's jump into the comments because, there's some things that, they kind of bug me, right? But overall, the majority of people seem to be quite happy about having this feature in the game. So let's begin. So this is obviously, I don't know if there'll be any more coming in after this as of the recording of this video. It says here, this guy says, so does that mean you can hit the CPU with a projectile without having be stood right next to the CPU, as I have never hit the CPU with Sub-Zero's Ice Ball once? If he's talking about MK2, you never will. In Mortal Kombat 2, there are certain projectiles where you will never hit the CPU unless you include it in some sort of a combo. Meaning that if you're doing low punches or high punches and you got them opened up and then you do it, you'll hit them. Like I main Scorpion, so if you do a jump kick harpoon, right, you can do it like that. Or somehow if they've jumped and you time a freeze, you can do that. No, as part of the general AI, the baseline AI, characters like Scorpion, Scorpion Spear in MK2, Sub-Zero's Freeze in MK2, you'll never hit them. Ever, right? All it means, though, is that at the very least, you'd be able to, beat the computer without any sort of, major issues. This guy says, I have this game and this menu doesn't exist. I don't know what this video is, but it's not there. Yeah, that's because if you're on console, you don't have access to it yet. If you've got the PC version, check out one of my previous videos which showcases how you can actually access the beta for it. There is a new 1-hour interview with digital clips on the Atari channel. Yeah, I watched some of it. It was alright. Nothing new. It was nothing new. But shout out to all those on the Discord that shared it to me. Thank you so much, including Total MK as well on Steam. My one does not have the fixed difficulty, but I beat the game with Rewind. Yes, it took ages, but save it every time. I won all arcades and of course Trilogy. The most difficult is cheap PS1 version. So yeah, we have rewind features. We have the save at any point feature. Save at any point feature has been part of emulations for 30 years, give or take, right? So this isn't new in the PC space, but it might be new to a lot of folk out there who have only pretty much been primarily playing on consoles for this whole time. So yes, I mean, and there are certain things that you should gatekeep, right? I'm not a big fan of gatekeeping difficulty, because at the end of the day, we're not this is no Dark Souls game. It might feel like a Dark Souls game, right, in the difficulty, but it's cheap. The AI in these games actually cheats. It reads your inputs and it can do things that you yourself can't do, like sweep throws in MK2. So, it's not an AI that's playing fair for you then to play fair back with, right? Man, this is a phenomenal update. I wish Digital Clips did this kind of update for Street Fighter 30th. Yep. I got this update and I tried this, set the AI to 0 and went to the tallest tower in Ultimate MK3, and for the first time I completed it. Now I can practice and get better instead of rushing like a madman while the game cheats. This is awesome. This comment right here is amazing, right? Because what it means though is that, actually, you know what? So we're gonna do a whole big likeys. If you don't get a likey, it means your comment might be bad, right? So this comment right here is one of the main reasons why a lot of people have struggled with the older MK games. because the AI is such a notorious bastard, all right, and people go, oh, you just got to learn to fight it the hard way. No, no, right? You have to cheese against the computer in order to beat it. That's not good game design, right? It's not good game design. And like I was stating, I don't care about gatekeeping difficulty unless it's something like Dark Souls where it's purposely made for that. This wasn't made like a Dark Souls type of game. This was made specifically, right, to steal your money at the arcade, right? I buy the game and put this in the console versions as it stands. I'm not going to buy it. Yeah, it'll definitely come in. It's definitely coming, right? So one of the good things about being on Steam with the PC version is that we get the updates immediately, and we get to see what's being changed in real time. And then for you guys that are playing on console, you can see what's coming, right? Gob is in the room. We all know Gob is. The fixed AI difficulty makes me want it now, and that's good. You gotta remember, like some people have this weird notion. They're like, well, I suffered, so do you. Listen, man, this ain't no pilgrimage, right? This ain't no finding thyself. This is a video game, all right? Like, nobody gives a shit, right? Nobody cares. And the problem is, though, is that, like, you can cheese the computer to beat it. Every AI in Mortal Kombat, at least the 2D Legacy series, has a baseline, AI component that every character can exploit, except for MK2, because there's 2 AIs available, right? But having something like this in there allows people that, love MK, always wanted to beat MK, but maybe they didn't have the coordination. And before I forget, let's not forget, there are people out there that are disabled who probably have great difficulty in playing some of these games at the ridiculous AI cheating method that these games have. And I'm all there for it, that it makes it easier for them, right? What's wrong with that? How does them enjoying the game in their particular way, on whatever particular settings that they have, somehow affect you? And as you're going to see, some of these comments, it's almost like somebody kicked their puppy. Right? Honestly, kind of sad that they can't beat the CPU like us old heads did, right? So, you don't get a like for that, right? It's not sad. We didn't have a choice, right? You had to come up with an exploit to beat the game, and there was no other way around it. You had to do the exploit in order to do that, right? It doesn't work on the PS5 version, in case anyone's wondering. Yeah, that's fine. Is this a mod or something from the devs? It's not on consoles. Yep. This is great. The problem I have with needing the cheese strats is that it makes single play into a pretty one-note experience. It's always pick this one character, spam this one move, and you basically ignore most of the game. 100% correct. 100% correct, right? Because there's no dynamic way of play, right? Not to well, I mean, other fighting games are fine too, right? Most other fighting games I play, yes, the computer can be really difficult, but it still feels like I can play the way I want to play, right? I've just got to figure out how I do that against the hard AI that I'm fighting against. But in classic MK, you can't do that, right? Capcom needs to make a Street Fighter collection like this and fix the difficulty on Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Okay. I played these from the start and I know the ways around it, but yeah, you have to resort to repetitive moves to win. That's right. Now all we need is to get all the missing Sega ports added to the game. True. I'm still really pissed off that there's more than half the Sega ports missing. Ultimate MK3 and the SNES runs at a terrible resolution and the sprites are squished as a result. And the audio is muffled as it is common with the SNES games. True. 100%. Yes, like, even though this... Now, listen, I'm a Sega fanboy. Sega, not Sega. Absolute people out there. Anyway, so I'm perfectly on board with, like, them putting more of the Sega ports in there because while they may not have the sound or, say, the graphics, like colors, as, say, the SNES versions out there, what they do have is AI accuracy, like CPU stuff. So if you were practicing on the home version on the Sega console and you went to the arcade, it would work 1-to-1, right? with the Nintendo ports, they would make modifications to the AI for some weird fuck reason. And it's like, well, hang on a sec, this is weird. Is this fix available on PS4? No, not yet, but it will be. The difficulty for the console versions are not the same since it was released for home consoles. That was the only way to officially play the game on easy. With all that said, I'm so happy they are adding the feature and giving us the option that if we want it. Yeah. How is having more options a bad thing? Like, I have to ask some of these people that you'll see it coming up. Are you really going to respect someone more because they had to resort to cheese tactics to fight a video game that was designed to actually cheat because it was trying to make sure that you spend more money on the arcade? Really? It's not showing up this on my Steam version. I don't see any updates either. Yeah, you've got to check the video where you got to put in the code, like the text, to access the beta, and then it will download that for you to access. I hope this comes to Xbox soon. It will. This is pretty damn good. True. Why can't I see it on my Steam version? Again, same thing. You've got to actually access the online beta. Looking forward to seeing this update on consoles. Why this works not for PS5? Again, you know. All right, here we go. Anyone that plays arcade on easy mode is a crybaby needs to learn to experience the arcade games as I did. The arcade games as I did hard and learning how to play to get past the moves with your own strategy. Yeah, but you don't though. You're not. Right? Because we all do it the same way, pretty much. Right? Every single MK game has a base AI. In MK1, jump back, jump forward, kick. Jump back, jump forward, kick. Jump back, jump forward, kick. MK2, half the roster. When they walk in, jump back, they jump forward. Punish. Walk back, jump forward, you punish them. The other half is absolute dog shit AI. I don't know why they had two separate ones in there, right? MK3, when the computer kicks into the hard mode, it will run in. Roundhouse, sweep, make them jump back. Run in, roundhouse, sweep, make them jump back. So on and so on and so on, right? Sometimes you can also add in a special move, like a fireball or something, as they jump back, and you might clip them. Ultimate MK3 and MK Trilogy, right? And I don't know too much about MK4, but that's a whole other video. Basically, the computer will square off with you, right? They'll walk forward and back with you, right? And as soon as they run in, if you try and roundhouse them, they'll punish you, right? So I figured out that instead of the roundhouse from MK3 that you need, you do the uppercut, and you can time the uppercut. Why am I telling you this? Because this applies to every character in the game. It doesn't mean you don't have to develop a new strategy for every character. This is the baseline AI that you can defeat it at, right? But it gets boring. In that regard, it gets boring, right? So having the option to being able to lock the AI at a certain difficulty for every fight, so they still put up a bit of a challenge, right? But you can approach them and try out different things, right? And it feels, I know it sounds weird, right? But the fights in the earlier fights in the games feel more dynamic than later on, because later on it is literal textbook. Like 100% textbook. It will do X, it'll do Y, it'll do Z if you do A or B or C, right? But early on, it's a little bit more free-flowing, right? It's actually harder to read. Even if you defeat them easily, sometimes they might pull out a couple of things and kick your ass for a little bit, right? But at least there's a little bit more of a dynamic feel there, right? And that's really important. Oh, you don't get a comment. You don't get it, like, that's because you're fat. Us skinny people like it a little. That made me, I won't like that, but that made me laugh, right? You know what I'm saying? I hope they can add N64 version someday. This is the best version of Trilogy and the Mega Drive version. All right, so it is not the best version of Trilogy. You're not going to get a like, but you'll get a like because you mentioned the Mega Drive one, so you kind of cancelled it out. It may have been a home version, but I remember being able to get to Goro with Liu Kang, but it was all impossible to beat him. I had to change characters, yeah. So in MK2 especially, half the roster you could use to go all the way up the ladder, and then you could die on Kintaro or Shao Kahn, change to one of the other characters that you find even more painful to use fighting up the ladder, and then you get the ending, right? A lot of people used to do that. All right, here we go. This is a stupid change. These are 30-year-old games and easily exploitable. All someone needs to do is a YouTube quick video, and they'll be able to beat all the towers. Yes, we've done that. I've done that, right? Other creators out there have done that. The point is, though, is that you just exposed yourself, right? You have to use an exploit way of gaming or gameplay in order to beat them. There is no fun factor outside of that. Because what you realize is that after a while, it's like, well, okay, now I've got to do this every time. I have to do this every single time, right? They should be focusing on all the online at this point, nothing else. Well, again, like, Digital Eclipse is not one person, right? Fuck online. These games were never made for online. Fixing a cheating AI, now that's something you need to focus on. Well, okay. Okay, listen. Online is just the digital version of being able to sit next to someone, yeah? Okay? That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay? It's taking the ability, it's taking away that need to physically be there and going in a digital sense. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The fact that you can, and to be fair, Ultimate MK3 WaveNet Edition is online. You know, it was connecting online with other arcades in Chicago, I believe it was, right? So, you know, anyway. Damn, time to re-download. Well, again, like I said, if you've got the Steam version right now, you can enjoy this little feature. Me and a few other guys on the Discord pushed very hard for this AI fix because this may be the last time we'll see ever get the... Okay. Alright, well, whatever. You tried. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and I've been talking about this sort of thing for a long time as well. That one of the barriers is for people with that. Again, like, does it really matter to you how somebody plays the game? Right? They're not asking for change here. They didn't modify the AI so that we can't play it the way we used to play it. Does that make sense? Right? We can still play on like how we used to. For us old heads. But this is an option, not a replacement, right? Wow, despite the mishandling of this collection at launch, Digital Eclipse deserves a ton of credit for finding a fix for the notoriously devilish arcade AI. Previously emulated ports never addressed it. The arcade 1-up release never addressed it. Finally, someone did, and fans can enjoy these arcade games without resorting to cheesing certain moves and relying on AI exploits. This is big news. Yes, it is. There are certain characters I'm a little bit more weak on in MK2 because, again, we had no training mode outside of setting up a 2-player mode, right? And they were so notorious to use against the AI that it was almost... You couldn't sort of figure out some stuff, right? Unless you were actually physically playing people or setting like a 2-player match and just sitting there and beating the AI, right? This update essentially fixes the game for me. No more complaints. I've always said that there's usually one thing that gets somebody into a game to purchase it, right? And for this fellow, this is like, yeah, this is a big one for me. This is like, you look at the collection, you go, yeah, these are great, but man, like, and the AI, regardless of what easy difficulty you use to set it on, would still kick your ass anyway, because the computer would kick in at a certain difficulty on a certain fight, right? This locks it at a certain difficulty for every fight, right? Playing the Switch, this option isn't there. Guess it's coming later. True. As an old MK head, I honestly never really noticed any broken difficulty setting with any of the games, console or otherwise. I guess because I've always known how to cheese, and that whether the difficulty ramps up too quickly or not at a normal pace, I've just cheesed my old cheeses, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Smoke, and others across the various games. In a funny way, does this sort of expose the Legacy Collection detractors who've cited that it has an AI that's too hard? Well, the AI is hard. Like, the AI is hard, but somebody, like, they've obviously, you know, figured a way around that to give people an opportunity to play these games without, like, you know, having a stroke. Because growing up with MK, yeah, the AI has always been hard. Be that as may, I'm glad that this is a thing because it gets more people into the game, then the better it is for the community and classic MK as a whole. True, like, this is a win-win. This is not a, you know, this is not a bad thing whatsoever, right? I'm glad they added this option. Finding cheese strats to beat the cheap AI in the old Mortal Kombat games was never much fun. I'm not that big of a fan of playing fighting games online with strangers. So this difficulty feature is more important to me than the new online arcade mode they are adding, though that looks cool too. I've been teetering on the edge of buying this collection up to this point, waiting for them to fix all the issues, and I think I'm ready to pick it up once these difficulty changes get pushed through to the PlayStation version. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Digital Eclipse, like, it was a hell of a rocky launch. But as I've stated, like, they have been very, very good and on point with this stuff, right? I'm still pissy about the crossplay stuff because it sounded like they were going to work on it, and now it seems like they're backbenching it. That pisses me off. But everything else, you know, they've been on point and getting it sorted. And if anyone has any problems, like actual issues with the game, go to their Discord. Go to their Discord and post your comments, and like, this is like a suggestions part, and there's also a bug reporting part. So if you're coming across issues that are actually affecting the game, put it in there, right? After playing through all of them, it seems that there is one problem child, the MK4 AI, while beatable, is extremely psychotic. Okay, yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out and see. Awesome news indeed. I think it might make a repurchase. That's what I'm telling you, man. If you do things to get people... If you get somebody that's like, nah, fuck this shit, and they get rid of it, right? And then they see changes happen, and they're like, you know what? They're making an effort. I'm going to buy it. You win those customers back, and that's pretty good, because they're the tough ones to get back. You're getting them to walk back in the shop and going, no, listen, we know we fucked up. You know, here it is. Was this AI setting added in the update, or was this a mod for PC? No, it's not a mod. It's an actual update. Okay, because I'm on PC, and I believe Fate is too, as I was wondering. Yeah, again, you've got to access the beta in order to be able to do that. Were you able to do the uppercut Deadpool fatality with one button finishes? I tried that, but it always does the other finisher instead. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll have to look at that and see. Even though I had difficulty fixed added the game, still try to get around the new adjustment, like when playing against Shao Kahn, he was still barrage with his shoulder charges. Yeah, like, so the bosses... okay, this is what I noticed with MK2, right? When I tested this out on stream the other day, and you can go check it out, when I did my stream the other day, MK2 Shao Kahn was constantly, like taunting me, right? So it actually affected him. And Kintaro actually felt a lot easier to beat as well, right? So... he could be talking about MK3 Shao Kahn. I don't know. Yeah, they had the AI difficulty fixed when they added the online arcade beta. The online arcade beta is only available until the end of Thanksgiving. Then they will remove it and make it better, and then add it back later. Okay, all right. That's fine. Well, I guess I need to make the video on how the difficulty works in arcade games now. Yeah, but like, who cares? Everyone knows how it works because they've been fighting them for like 30 years, right? Like, helping people understand how it works, like a lot of us have done, doesn't change the fact of how it is, right? It doesn't change the fact of how it is. The arcade AI is dog shit, right? It was designed to thieve your money, right? And because we didn't have any choice, we did figure out our strategies around it, but they were cheesy strategies, right? I don't have this option Xbox Series X with this difficulty. Yeah, but you will. It's all good. Update didn't drop for consoles yet, it seems. This alone makes me want the collection. I've always wanted to play these games without AI just slaughtering me. The console version is already easier than the arcade, except for MK3. The console versions are not easier. The console, at least on Sega, and every other outside of Nintendo, because I didn't really play much of the Nintendo ones. Although I did get MK3 on the Super NES before I eventually got it on PS1. And it was just like playing the arcade, right? So that was fine. So I don't really know what you're talking about, right? Because it was just mirroring what we got in the arcade. I have mixed feelings about this feature. This is not the way MK was supposed to be played, regardless of the CPU is cheating or not. What do you mean? Not? Oh, okay. So if it's cheating, right? Because Mortal Kombat's on the side of the box, then it's okay. I don't need anyone to be holding my hand through the game. Okay, well, nobody will be holding your hand, or you in general, because it's your game and you're sitting there by yourself playing it. Play it the way you want to play it. If you want to play it in the highest difficulties, play it in the highest difficulties, right? Now, this is where it gets really weird. If I'm getting my ass beat, That means I need more practice. No, it means that you need to perfect your cheese moves against the AI. Fighting the AI is a different beast to fighting people. Right? 100%. It is completely different. Okay? Because the AI is reading your inputs. Right? Whereas a person can make mistakes. Right? And if I'm not willing to put in the time and get better, then I shouldn't be playing Mortal Kombat. This is the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. This is a video game. Right? This is stupid. What do you mean you shouldn't be playing Mortal Kombat? Not everyone that plays a fighting game, for a starter, right, or any game in general, right, wants to go into like the highest difficulties. Always make the joke, real men play on easy, right? Because at the end of the day, if you just want to have fun and sit back and just enjoy the fucking game, then what difference does it make? Right? Is this affecting anyone else because you play a certain way? Are you a less of a fan because of it? Of course you're not. You should be playing Mario games that give you invincible ability after you die a certain amount of times. Bro, like, what are you talking about? When you die, you just keep coming back and keep fighting again over and over and over again. What the fuck are you talking about? Right? All of these games don't have, like, you don't have to worry about putting fucking coins in anymore. So you do get an infinite amount of times to do that, right? And this I read it wrong. The invincible ability after you die a certain amount of time. Okay, you're right, I read it wrong, right? I don't know about Mario. I've never played fucking Mario, but I don't remember Sonic having it. There's an item you can pick up for Sonic that makes you invincible, but you got to get the item, right? Otherwise, if you keep dying, you just come back and you got to try again, regardless. It's called Mortal Kombat for a reason. It's the video game is called Mortal Kombat. We're not literally doing this shit, bro. They should call the feature bitch combat. That's a joyful statement. You make no sense. Inputs reading is not fun. It's not hard, it's unplayable. Dark Souls is fun, but hard. MK is not fun, but cheating. Explain its popularity. Which one? Classic Mortal Kombat is popular not because of the cheating AI, because classic Mortal Kombat has very tight gameplay and very awesome looking characters and a world and sounds and sound effects and music and stuff like that and the graphics and everything. Right? Nobody's sitting there. I don't think I've heard a single person sit there and go, you know what? I love this cheating AI. It's so good. It makes me just fall in line and play a single way. That's the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. Why wouldn't you want a challenge? This doesn't teach you to be better at the game and at all. Is this the same person? No. And it removes the replay value. Fucking participation trophies. This is the stupidest comment I've ever heard as well. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's not taking away the difficulty. You can sit there, you know, I beat the hardest difficulty on these games and I had to play the same fight the same way with the same tactics every time. Great. Great. Copy and paste gameplay. Fucking well done. Excellent. What a great game design that is. I'm sorry, but it's not. Right? We didn't have a choice. But if we had these proper difficulty sliders back then, in the home console versions, you wouldn't see comments like this. Right? This is this entitlement of like, well, I toughed it out, so should you. Imagine saying shit like that. Right? This is how you turn people off in welcoming them into the community. Right? Oh, you got to do it this way, otherwise you're fucking less of a person. Give or take. Right? It's not a challenge. The CPU is reading your inputs and stomping everything you throw out. It's not having fun. Yeah, it's true. Like you can't even use half your shit because the AI is just reading everything you're doing. And it's so like accurate that you have to cheese to beat it. How is import reading AI teaching you anything? You're dead before you learn anything. It makes no sense. Here we go. Here we go. It teaches you how to control the CPU and play the game as intended. You mean cheating. Right? If you can't beat the AI, the cheating AI, if you can't beat the cheating AI, not the AI, not beat the computer that at least is within the parameters of certain coding that it's still going to play fair and not do things that you yourself can't do. He literally states it, you can't beat the cheating AI. This is like saying, gee whiz, I can't beat the guy that's using auto-aim in Call of Duty. Right? And I'm sure some people do. But the problem is, though, it's a fucking headache. Nobody wants to. It's annoying because you've got to push yourself more just to override something that they literally flicked a button for and then just run around and shoot plebs and shit and not even think twice about it. There's no gameplay strategy. They're basically running on easy mode, forcing you working extra harder just to try and beat them. There's no satisfaction really in beating a cheater, right? Especially when the AI in these older games is by default cheating. That's because you're stupid and have a difficult time learning the game. This is the most condescending fucking shit I've ever read. Nobody gives a fuck. If you want to be competitive, if you want to think you got a bigger Johnson than somebody else because you play a fucking video game from 30 years ago, tell you what, there's not a lot of chicks out there you can suck your dick because they think that's fucking hot, right? It's stupid, and you know what? It's basically borderline homosexual, all right? This is stupid way of thinking. Nobody fucking cares. These are 30-year-old games, and even if it wasn't 30-year-old games, the reason why Dark Souls games get so popular is because Dark Souls games feed into old games, not cheating AI, might I add, but older games back on the older systems, the 8-bit and 16-bit. A lot of them were quite difficult, not because they were cheating, because you had to learn pattern recognition. You had to learn how the enemies and the bosses or sub-bosses worked in order to then figure out the strategy. They weren't cheating. They had a predetermined amount of parameters that they worked within. And you had to read them and figure it out. Okay? This is not the same thing. The AI literally cheats. There's videos on the internet proving that the AI cheats. Okay? And they do that. They did this because in the arcade, in order to get you to spend more money, they made it so that you had to, you'd be like, oh, I'm going to beat him this time. Throw in another quarter or $1 or whatever, until you start figuring out, okay, well, the only way to do this is to cheese it. Right? If you want to argue that, then my question to you is how come there are so many people that can easily beat the arcades on very hard with no issues? Because we were fucking old and stubborn and we had no other choice. We wanted to get to the ending and see the ending. We wanted to say that we beat it. I can do it, but I don't have this attitude. This is a terrible attitude. How come there are speedrun? Here we go. Right, this is the. How come there are speedrun records that the AI is too cheap? The simple answer is you're too stupid to learn how to beat it. Your learning deficiency shouldn't be Digital Eclipse's problem. Yeah, a great welcoming comments to people that are struggling with this shit. Fucking clown. People that speedrun games have basically learnt essentially an allowed hack, right? They figured out that by stringing certain moves together or certain parameters of those moves, or skipping a level by finding some sort of incorrectly coded part of a wall that you can slip through, drop down to a part, and then go straight through an exit portal, whereas normally you'd have to run around. This is all because they have figured out the path of least resistance, right? But speedrunning is not everyone. Speedrunning is like this finite niche of people who just absolutely, for whatever fucking sadistic reason, love the idea of this constant pain of having to sit there and force yourself to fight like this, right? But they love it, and that's fine. They love it. There's an MK Australian guy that does speedruns. But that's because it's finite. It's a niche group of people that do these with games. Right? I don't want to speedrun a fucking game. Because I just want to play the game and have fun with it. Right? This is so ridiculous. This is this is all over a video game, by the way. This is all over a video game. Right? Wait, is this a mod or something developers going to implement in all the games? Because for the love of God, I hope this is something we'll get. Oh yeah, you'll get it, man. Don't worry about it. You'll get it. Devs will add it to the platforms. Yep. When playing Trilogy, the only time the sub bosses are necessary and a must is when the CPU starts cheating. Yeah. Yeah, because you can cheese the AI with the bosses because they hit like a dump truck, right? In saying that though, you could put on like normal boss damage and then fight as if you're normal character's health and stuff, and normal damage output. Hi, will PlayStation be getting this fixed? Yes, they will. Always never understood why they included easy difficulties when reality doesn't affect anything. Like, again, this is not just something I've been saying for years. Everyone knows this about classic MK. I'm aware the OG arcade ROMs were designed to be hard to munch quarters, but why pretend an option exists when it does absolutely nothing? Remember, MK HD on PS3 suffered the same. Well, there was no HD. It was just like MK, like MK2 on the PS3. It wasn't HD, right? But yeah, that's the thing. Like this is not just platform specific. This is the base AI. And for the very first time in Mortal Kombat history for the Legacy games, they've actually done this. And by the sounds of it, like I said, they're going to be doing this for the console versions, right? Which they're probably already working on because they figured out how to identify the difficulty ramping up at the end of a round, or sorry, at the end of a fight. So then they'll just apply that to the other games. And that's going to be great for people that probably, maybe they didn't play the arcade of MK2, but they had the MK2 version of Genesis or Mega Drive. And they're like, great, I can finally beat this now. Who gives a shit if they don't play it on the hardest fucking difficulty? My God, man. Like, people who struggles, they must be shit playing the game. Yeah, that's not a helpful comment, bro. Well, the game is hard as shit, especially towards the end of MK2 Ultimate. Well, it's not even near the end. So the difficulty levels are kind of like a false bottom in the older games, right? You might get maybe an extra fight on easy, but eventually the arcade will, or the AI will just kick into like the definitive hard mode, right? My voice is boring. Okay. I like that. Okay. I don't know what I'm supposed to sound like. Maybe you can assist me. Chelsea Kerr 4637, motherfucker. Should have been out of the box, unfinished games. Well, no, it's not. It's got nothing to do with it being unfinished. This is an added feature, just like them adding fatality trainers and shit like that, and training modes. These are features that they are adding to games that never natively had them. Right? I hated that in the first level. AI ducks my scorpion spear every time. It always will. Like this, that actually won't fix it. That's baked into the AI in MK2. That won't fix that, right? It won't fix that. What it will do though is that the computer won't be trying to like straight up murder you, so you can then sort of add it into combos and fiddle around with stuff like that, right? Wonder why they didn't include the Saturn and PlayStation versions of MK2 in there. I don't know, actually. 3 reasons. Oh, okay, we've got some reasons. All right. Saturn version is very difficult to emulate. Digital Eclipse won't have developed a very solid emulator to run that. Maybe. And is it Implicit Designs or whatever they're fucking called? They're the ones doing the emulators. PlayStation version was only exclusive to Japan. For Digital Eclipse to include that, they need to make a Japan PS1 BIOS for the game and able to make it run on the emulator. I mean, that's not hard. It's not hard to get hold of, and I'm not meaning like illegally. They obviously would be able to go, well, here's the BIOS over here. Sony, can we use this? Yeah, sure, no worries, bro. Thanks, mate. Right? Like, come on. Anyway, thanks for the video. I hope the patch comes to console soon. With the standard difficulty levels, it resets automatically in some games. For example, if you lose 2 to 3 battles in MK1 Arcade, it resets automatically. In Ultimate MK3 Arcade, it resets after about 5 or 6 lost battles, just like in Trilogy. This can get annoying after a while in Ultimate MK3 for Nintendo. The difficulty resets after just 1 lost battle. The console versions are generally much easier, but unfortunately not as visually appealing as the arcade versions. But thankfully, these options are now available, and hopefully they'll be released for consoles within this week. Yeah, and again, I hope that the console versions within these versions for all platforms will get this as well. Nice update, cool. If you save the game on menu selection, you can load up there and skip startup loading screens. Yeah, that's true. That's a nice little life hack as well. I've actually got a save state. So for the end of Trilogy, I've got a save state where I can access Shao Kahn's treasures. And so I can just go through and choose whatever I want, right? If I want to just load up the Mega Endurance, I can, just like that. Or see the, actually I can't do the arcade ending because then that would be for the character I finished it on. But everything else is there available for me to check out. Again, these are just little quality of life things that are kind of cool. I couldn't believe how hard Extra Easy was on Trilogy. Literally getting bodied in the first match. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like whatever, there's some sort of like issue with the, like they added Extra Easy, but it wasn't extra easy, right? So yeah, anyway, seriously, one of the best fixes. Yeah, this is exactly how they should do it. Keep the original difficulty for authenticity. I think I said that right. But give the option for the fixed AI. Yeah, again, I've been saying it for years. You know, I'm all for it. You know, it gets more people into the game. What the fuck is wrong with that? Right? Don't you see a problem here? Arcade is no longer an arcade and on console and PC. So what the fuck did they have to put in the dumb AI in the first place? When they're getting any more money, they have ruined my experience with Mortal Kombat. Oh yeah, here we go. Right, here we go. So it's included so the losers feel better about winning. If you feel this way about video games, then you got bigger problems than video games and the people that have them. Like, this is fucking stupid. Does it really matter? Like, does it really matter if somebody chooses to play a game a certain way within the parameters of what's available to them? Right? After all, if you just want to play to see the endings and story, then this dumb AI mode should do the trick. It's like them JRPGs nowadays. They had a very easy difficulty, like Final Fantasy Mystic Quest level of fucking, yeah, that's a stupid ass comment. You know, another YouTuber posted about how digital clips completely scam people by putting in a difficulty setting that doesn't work. Then this guy posted a fix for it. After all the devs becoming trash coders now, I'd actually love to know what Extra Easy does. Right? In buying future Digital Clips games because they're so lazy, a line coder had to fix it for them. This point, gaming is a hobby is going to die. Well, the person that fixes AI is part of the team. I don't know where you're going with that. The point of gaming as a hobby is going to die when all you get now is broken games released. Yeah, that's not a good thing. Overpriced for said games, that's not good either. It's a toss-up if it'll ever get fixed, and that's also a worry too. Bonus, all the remasters for cheap cash grabs, like Mortal Kombat and that, top 3 issues. Listen, I'm not against, like, I don't agree with them being pathetic because I own all their previous collections, and I'm pretty happy, right? But being an MK fan, I was very, very critical. Like, very critical of, you know, how it was launched, missing stuff, lots of input issues, things like that, right? And that's my right as a customer, okay? But they have been on the burner, getting this stuff sorted out. And I've talked about comeback kids like Kings before, where a game will come out like No Man's Sky or Final Fantasy 14, it's shit, and then they go back to the drawing board and they knuckle down and they fix it. I'm not against redemption, right? By the way, I didn't buy the collection yet, but I'm sure if you press the back select touch, oh yeah, because I think I was showing Trilogy. It only works in some of the logos showing up, right? So the first few ones don't, and then I think it's the one where it's like rolling in, like it comes sliding in. You can do it on that one, then the next one, and then yeah. Rip Eddie, I don't know who that is, but okay. I thought they said they weren't going to do it. Is it patched for PS5 yet? Not yet. I just said months ago they needed to fix the AI. Now it's a reality. I've beaten MK2 on the hardest AI like everyone else. I just want to play some of my favorite MKs without breaking a sweat all the damn time. Yeah, and that's the thing too, right? It's like, yeah, we know we can do it. But like, I played, like, so now, because we don't have to worry about this stupid other half of the AI in MK2, I can now look at the rest of the roster in MK2 and choose Raiden or Katana or Melina or whatever, and sit there and just have some fun. Now, I know there are tricks, sure, but again, you've got to be as good as the AI to try and beat it with the other half of the AI there. And I don't need that level of aggravation, right? I don't need that shit no more, okay? When this being added, I'm not sure actually, bro, but hopefully very soon. This is the update I've always dreamed of for the arcade versions. Now they finally be able to enjoy single player mode instead of feeling like it's impossible. Yep, perfect. Yep. More choice is always better. Who cares if people want to put it on the easiest difficulty and run the table? With choices, one person can do that and the other can set it to a competitive difficulty. This is a great change. Yeah, more choice. Like, how is that a bad thing? Okay, having a choice is a better option. True. This is the update I've been asking for decades. Hope everyone buys the collection now, enjoys MK. You can play the cheating AI if you want to. Nothing has been lost. It's only a gain. Yep, that's right. Like, people are acting like this has been replaced. This is coming from someone who's been playing MK since the first and had an MK2 cabinet at home. Single player will be much more enjoyable now. Glad I lived long enough to see. Oh, I'm glad you're still here too, man. Like, I mean, unless you're like 80 fucking years old, right? I mean, like, come on, man. You're probably like my age, right? We got many years to go. Is the update on consoles yet? Nah, not yet. I love it. MK can be fun now. We need console and handheld, like you said. I'm feeling good about this collection. DE did amazing on the Atari collection. Yeah, the Atari collection is really solid. I haven't got their DLC packs yet for it, but yeah. I could always understand why the arcades were hard because the operators wanted more your money, but there was absolutely no need to make Trilogy just as cheap and hard. Yeah, well, they basically just copied over, like, the AI from Ultimate, right? So, you know. And listen, I don't know if people ever had, I mean, obviously some people have, but within, like, the MK team, I don't know if there was ever any conversations about that, right? This is my favorite update of the collection, but like you said, we need the other console ports with adjusted difficulty. Yep. Yeah, because, like, you might want to load up MK2 Genesis, right? You know, so, and do it that way. Again, like, they have been adding stuff, you know, like obviously things like fatality trainers and training modes for the games and things. So they've been trying to make sure that, like, everything's kind of covered, which is good. Honest to God, I really hope down the track they just give us online play for the handhelds. I know, like, oh, but there's issues with ad hoc or whatever. And who gives a fuck? Like, they're obviously having issues regardless. Just make it available. Like, nobody, listen, man, like, nobody's going to give a shit, right? Really? Like, nobody's going to care. Yeah. These are pretty awesome features they're adding. Patiently waiting the PS5 patch. I'm hyped just to get on Spectator and watch some sweats. Go at it while take notes. Yeah, I was watching some people earlier today. You know, they were going pretty hard. You know, they love their little jibby jabs or whatever. But whatever. MLA Gaming 4K, is it going to make my life a lot easier? Thanks for the video. I said absolutely, dude. It's very easy now, which is great. He says it's really easy for me because of my disability. And I hope, thank you for the CPU difficult for me. I hope to patch PlayStation really soon. Yeah. So MLA, he's a really, really awesome dude. And he does have a disability. He's got a great fighting game channel. Go check him out. So it is difficult. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, people that actually also have disabilities, you know, like, you know, because you have to be so fast and so accurate with this stuff to defeat the AI, this will make it a lot easier. So now they can just relax and play it at their pace. When is this available on PS4? I've been waiting for this. Yeah, so obviously a lot of people are very keen for this. But yeah, some of these comments, man, they're just like, I mean, you need Jesus or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not good. This is not good. I'll see if there's any more comments just before. I know it's a long video, right? I'm literally farming my own content. I think that was the last one. Yeah. No, it was. Yeah. So, but anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Catch you next time.